Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with another transfer talk roundup show. Before we get into it, make sure you smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. Help us on the road to 4,000. We're moving up and up and up. We're getting close to 3,800. We want to hit 4K before the end of the season. So please do like, subscribe, and help support the channel. So I did mention last night on the fans forum, do catch that if you haven't already, that I might be jumping on to do a quick transfer talk roundup because the last couple of days we've had loads of rumours of various players. There's been reports of Monchi scouting Brazilian internationals. Also, Emery, a long-time admirer of a couple of players that we might be putting bids in, and also a couple of championship-based players who Villa apparently are interested in. So yeah, we'll dive straight into it. Now, a lot of this, I reckon, is speculation. Obviously, it's all good fun, though, to talk about players that might be coming to Villa or we might be interested in. So take it, obviously, a lot of it with a pinch of salt, but it's always good fun. And of course, dependent on where we finish in the table, we've obviously secured fifth position in the league, which is fantastic. Europa League spot, but can we push for that Champions League spot, which obviously changes the profile of player that we could or would be able to sign. So the first one, we know Emery is a long-time admirer of Alejandro or Alex Baena, Villarreal winger, attacking player, and creative player, has represented Spain at every level from under 16s right through to two caps at international level and scored one goal already at international level. Played through the Villarreal teams as well, so graduated through their academy from the C team to the B team, to the first team, and went on loan at Girona between the 2021-22 season, and he played 38 times, scoring 5 goals, and is now made 69 appearances for Villarreal, scoring 8 goals. So has gradually developed and got better and better and better. And now looks like I think Barcelona are interested in him as well as Aston Villa. And he said some complimentary things about Unai Emery for obvious reasons, and said, apparently it'd be an easy decision or easy move for Villa to make to get him. So that's quite an exciting prospect. Now, we've obviously potentially lacked in that creative position, with Buendia being injured, Moussa Diaby being a slightly different profile of player. Morgan Rogers has obviously come in and done fantastically well, but that kind of player who can slip balls through or play the difficult pass, we've probably missed a little bit this season, albeit what a fantastic season we've had. So looking at him, 22 years of age, 30 times played in La Liga. He started 29 times, has scored 2 goals. But the key point here is, and he scored 2 goals from inside the box. He's had 12 assists this season, and he's created 15 big chances, and he's 2.5 key passes per game. Accuracy 78%, 86% in his own half, 67% in the opposition half. Probably due to the fact he's playing these difficult passes and these creative passes, which sometimes, like we've said, it's something that maybe an Emi Buendia would have been able to create for us. And this type of player is someone that would help develop us, particularly in European competition. We've seen how we've struggled to break certain teams down in European competition. This would be a fantastic type of player to get. 51% in terms of successful dribbles, not too bad in terms of duels won, 47% in total duels won. So yeah, a very, very creative player, an excellent player. I believe that we, should we secure Champions League football, would be someone I would be very interested in taking a look at. Now, I guess a similar profile to that type of player, but again, one who is a bit more of a surprise. I'm not sure. I think this is more paper talk, more kind of putting different clubs' names in there. Is Callum O'Hare, obviously familiar to us Aston Villa supporters, came through our academy, made a couple of appearances in the first team, but never quite made the grade. Was always compared to Jack Grealish, probably slightly unfairly, slightly different player to Grealish, but then moved on and had loan spells at Carlisle. and then Coventry, and found his home at Coventry, and has played 131 times since playing 29 games on loan, and since he signed there, scored 14 goals, made an England under-20 appearance, and has had a really, really good couple of seasons. Had a really bad injury, came through that really well. And this season, has been instrumental in Coventry having, a couple of really good seasons. Obviously, they just missed out last season on promotion, and this season they've just missed out on the playoffs, but got to the FA Cup semi-final. But he's out of contract, and I think he's thinking it's time to move to the Premier League. So, I guess Coventry fans will be, disappointed, but also kind of wishing well in terms of him moving on to the Premier League. And Villa, I think Brighton, the Brentfords, West Ham, I think are interested in him as well. And he's had a good season, 30 times played, scored 6 goals, scored in a couple of really key games. 6 goals all from inside the box. He's a creative player. He's got 3 assists this season. He's also created 4 big chances. His passing accuracy is pretty good. 86%, 91% in their own half, 82% in the opposition half. Likes to play it quickly. Likes to keep the ball circulating. Likes to keep the ball moving, and can pop it up in the box, as we've seen 4 goals, and he scored at Wembley. Obviously a deflected shot. Likes to get his foot in. 1.1 tackles per game. 3.3 ball recoveries, and he does, like to get about the pitch, and cause problems. So I can't see this one myself. Obviously he could be available on a free. If we can go for the likes of Baena and 1 or 2 others, then I see that more likely. And I think Villa's name's probably been used as a bit of bait for other clubs. I can see him, looking at maybe a West Ham, maybe a Fulham, someone like that, or one of the teams going up from the Championship. But wishing well in the Premier League. But I'm sure we will get his move. Next one that's an interesting one, and apparently Monchi was at the new camp on the weekend to see Rafinha, and apparently available in a 55 million euro move. But we're looking at clubs like Manchester United, 1 or 2 others, and me and Kev were talking last night about what's a more attractive proposition than Aston Villa or Manchester United. And you'd have to say at the moment Aston Villa. Man United, I imagine, could offer the wages, but why not? Why not a player like Rafinha? Very, very good player at Leeds. Has obviously gone on to Barcelona and done very well. Brazilian international, 22 caps. He's played 61 times for Barcelona, scoring 12 goals. Played 65 times for Leeds, scoring 17 goals, and is a player who really does work very, very hard for the team, up and down the line, and I guess a player that I would say Emery would probably quite like. Now, do I see him fitting into the team that we've got? Maybe not in terms of the position that he's played. He's got a lot out of Leon Bailey this season on that right-hand side, cutting in. Moussa Diaby can play there as well. So I don't see it necessarily myself, but it's an interesting one if Monchi was out there watching him. 25 games played in La Liga, 5 goals scored. I think maybe had a bit of an injury hit season. 3 from inside the box, 2 from outside of the box, 1 headed goal, 4 left-footed goals. So likes to cut inside. 9 assists this season. So obviously very, very creative as well. Can beat players. Very exciting player to watch. Very quick. 81% accuracy. Passing per game. 92% in his own half. 70% in the opposition half. 0.5 interceptions, 2.7 ball recoveries. So likes to work hard, and successful in the dribbles, 55%. So an increase in that from previous players. So yeah, players from the likes of Barcelona is another is another thing for us, and Brazilian internationals, as we know, we can attract these type of players. So again, Rafinha is going to be an interesting one. Does he move away from Barcelona? Do they need the money? There's talk that they need to sell, as there was last season. I think he was maybe linked last season as well to Villa. So this season our stock has risen that little bit higher. And players know that they will improve under Unai Emery. So we will be talked about with a lot of players, a hell of a lot of players moving to the club. Another domestic player, and I do like this player. I don't know if he quite fits our midfield profile. It depends on who moves out. But Kiernan Dewsbury Hall has had a great season in the Championship for Leicester in their promotion and Championship winning season. Obviously a Premier League quality player, but did his bit by staying at Leicester for a season to get them back up. Has played 102 appearances for Leicester, scoring 15 goals, and he's had a great season in the Championship. And yeah, I think apparently they need the money as well, and it's looking like a 30 million deal that could see him potentially transfer away. Now, again, the likes of the Fulhams, Brentfords, Brightons are all interested in this player. I could probably see him at a Brighton if I'm being brutally honest. I can't necessarily see him at Villa, but that heat map, all over the pitch. Very good engine, 25 years of age. High pressing and playmaking are his main strengths, but scored 12 goals this season in 44 appearances in the Championship, and missed 7 big chances as well, so could have really improved on that. 12 all from inside the box, so likes to make runs into the box, 3 with his head, 9 with his left foot, and 14 assists as well this season. So, I mean, what a fantastic season he's had, and created 20 big chances. Now, we know Leicester were on a fantastic run at one point, and we're looking like they were going to absolutely walk it in the league this season. So, yeah, he's had a great season and been one of the main contributors to that. One tackle per game, 5.1 ball recoveries per game, 61% in terms of successful dribble. So we know he's a Premier League quality player and was probably too good for the Championship. But it's going to be interesting to see which clubs do go in for him, and would he be a candidate for a Villa to sign? You have to have a certain number of homegrown or English players in and around your squad. Do you spend that money on a Kiernan Dewsbury Hall? Again, it depends on who we let go. Do you get a Callum O'Hare on a free transfer, bring him back to the club? It's usual that we let players go and then try and sign them back for more money, or they get sold for more money that we didn't benefit from. But it'd be interesting to bring a player back on a free, like a Callum O'Hare. And finally, just to round it off, a player who hasn't gone away in terms of the rumour mill, and there has to be something in this. Jonathan David, again, has been talked about Villa looking to bring in, I think, between a 25 and 35 million euro fee. Now, Kevin and I were talking about this last night on the fans forum again. It's obviously a very small sample size, but the 2 games he played against Villa, I didn't see a huge amount in what he might be able to bring. He didn't really do a huge amount. He played better in their home leg. He had a couple of chances, but we know what Unai Emery's like in bringing the best out of players, and maybe Jonathan David, didn't show his best, and maybe the players didn't utilize him as much as they could. But we know what Unai Emery can do, and we know we probably need to carry 2 or 3 really good strikers in the league next season, as well as fighting on the European front. So he's got 17 goals this season for Lille in League 1. He's had a bit of a return to form. Didn't have the best of seasons the season before that. Likes to get about the pitch. Again, hard working striker. As I say, 31 appearances, 17 goals. 14 big chances missed as well, so we'd need to look at that and get that sharpened up a little bit. Obviously, the Premier League, different standard to League 1, so we'd need to up his game as well. 15 goals from inside the box, 2 goals from outside the box. Scored left foot, right foot, and with his head. So he's an all-round goal scorer. Has 3 assists as well, and created 8 big chances. So likes to work together with other teammates as well, which is good. Good passing accuracy at over 80%. And ball recoveries as well, 2.5. So we know strikers now have to put the work in and do the hard yards. So he would be a player that would do that. But as I say, the clamour for him before we played against Lille was huge, and Villa fans, myself, were like, "Oh, we've got to get this player in. He's brilliant. He's brilliant." And I guess that was more the hype around him. And then when we saw him, he wasn't quite as we expected. But as I say, it's trusting in the manager who he wants to bring in, and he will definitely make them better. So that's it for the roundup. 5 I guess, different types of players, but all all good quality and could probably bring something to the team if we were to bring them in. Let me know in the comments who you think: Alex Baena, Rafinha, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, Callum O'Hare, Jonathan David. Who most excites you? Who would you like to see in the side? As I revealed last night, I'm going to be doing a watch along for the Lille game, so please do look out for that. And we will also bring you match reaction, match preview for Brighton, match reaction for Brighton game as well. So loads to come on the channel. So make sure you stay tuned. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That's me for today. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, remember, we'll follow the Villa.